like I said, trying to figure out what does she actually want, what is her preconceived notions about Botox, and making sure that we can set up her expectations to actually match what Botox can truly do for her. So go ahead and talk to me, what exactly do you want to have done?
So the area in between my eyes and above my forehead feels like a shelf.
Okay.
And then the lines above here.
Okay.
Now this small area under my eyes where I can see a line. So under there as well.
Okay. So a line, let me give you the mirror. I want you to describe what line you're talking about.
So I see a line right here.
Okay. I
And
see that.
you do see it?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm not
I
going to.
do. Nope. So what I see though is this is an area that we would use filler in, not necessarily Botox.
Okay.
If you had lots of little baby lines up in here, we can do baby whiffs of Botox up there. And we're going to put it into the skin, not the muscle, and it is going to help to tighten up the skin.
Okay.
But
'Cause I can see those at rest too.
yeah, this is more of a volume loss.
Okay.
And it's like the malar fat pad split. So there's a little split in the fat pad seam, and it's just dropping just ever so slightly.
Yeah.
So you'd be a good candidate to actually refill all the way up here, and that's gonna pop that back up. And then we would want to laser this because when we stretch it, do you see how the sun damage, because it's a crease, the sun damage has been able to reflect onto that. So now she has sun damage into the volume loss area, making it worse. So when we're thinking of aesthetics and injectables, so much of it is about light reflex and then the sun damage. So we want to restore her peak light reflex right up here. And we want to pop this back out and get rid of the sun damage. That way, because when she says she has a line, she's probably focused more on the sun damage line. My eye is trained to see more of the volume loss. So we need to address both, or at least have the conversation with her about both. That way she knows exactly what she's getting. So not an area for Botox, but up here we could do a little bit of Botox underneath there. And when we're talking about your forehead, you have a very petite forehead, so I want to be very careful in this area treating your forehead.
Yeah.
And the reason being, go ahead and scowl for me. Perfect. So you have nice outlined muscles here, and then raise up your brows. So I think I'm comfortable doing just a little bit of Botox in 3 different areas here. And then important for you is to come back at 3 weeks to see where your brow position is, and we can adjust accordingly.
Okay.
I don't want to go too heavy. I want you to be satisfied with this gone, but I don't want to go too heavy, because when you said you feel like you have a shelf, that means I need to treat this area most to get you that raise. No, did you see the smirk? She's like, I like that. That was cute. It was like I raised it up and it was like I took the corners of her mouth with it. That was cute. So we'll do that, and then we'll follow up with you in 2 weeks. And if we need to do a little bit more in the forehead, we can.
Okay.
But go ahead and scowl for me. Okay, and relax. I'm just going to clean off my little pen here. Alright, so go ahead and scowl again. So what I just did there is visually outlined where I see her corrugator muscle and her procerus. So go ahead and scowl again. So this right here is her procerus, and then this is her corrugator muscle. So all of these are responsible for giving her the brow lift. So at rest, the procerus and the corrugator are depressor muscles. Once we give them Botox, they're going to become elevators and take off that shelf feel. And if you ever forget that, if you can't quite remember, oh, which one goes up, which one goes down, have them animate. So go ahead and animate. See how it depresses, it's pulling everything down and in. And then when we think of the frontalis muscle, that's this muscle up here, it sits like 2 little wings of a bird. There's not much going on right here. There is little fibers that intersect, but oftentimes the frontalis muscle sits just like this. And go ahead and raise your eyebrows. It's an elevator muscle, so once we give it Botox, it becomes a depressor, and that's why that 2-week follow-up is so important, because that's where we can play with the brows and get them spot on, because we don't want to make that heavy feeling worse by doing too much up here. And she has a smaller forehead, so we just need to be careful. Okay, so I'll clean you up. And then I can take the mirror for you. Interesting glove. I don't know what just happened there. Okay, so very strong alcohol. You can keep your eyes closed if you'd like, just so that the fumes don't get on you. She has been pre-cleaned by Cassie, but I just wanna, anytime they get back into my chair, I can't help but clean them again. Oh, keep that eye closed. Keep it eye closed because the fumes. Okay, stay closed for another minute. Okay, so go ahead and turn towards me. Perfect. Okay, so first poke, I'm going to go right into the procedure, so go ahead and scowl for me. Good. Here's your first little injection. I'm going to do 4 units right there. Scowl again. Perfect. 4 more units on the first portion of the corrugator. Right and left. Relax for a second. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Scowl. She has a really nice active corrugator muscle, so you can see it quite clearly. Not everybody is that well defined, which makes your job a little bit tougher. So I'm going to come to the lateral tail of the orbicularis oculi muscle, and I'm going to give 2 units to help pop that tail up. Good. You doing okay?
Yes.
So now I'm going to do 1 unit underneath each eye because she said she doesn't like the little creases that she has at rest. So this one seems scary and intimidating.
Yeah.
Just you keep your eyes open. It actually doesn't really hurt. It's just more of the
The needle coming in.
yeah. So rest your head right back and eyes up. And I'm going to do 1 unit under each. I'm just going to bob and weave between all the little baby vessels. When I do this area, I do tend to tell patients that they can expect a bruise. If they don't, great, but it's such a vascular area. Chin down for me just a little and raise up. Good. Raise up again. So I'm coming right at the peak, because that's where she's not going to like that brow crease. But I'm up nice and high so that we're not going to catch anything to drop the brows. And that's it.
Done and done.
Feel good?
Feels good.